Hi everybody, this is Hero from the Birds back with another Shadowlands video, and in this video I'm taking a look at this Nightfall Affliction Warlock build. We're in a Spires 13. I just come off a week of playing Destrolock and doing Rain of Fire, so I'm a little bit rusty, but here's what we're trying to do. See if we can make a good boss build that also has reasonable pack damage. Make use of and test out the Nightfall Decimating Bolt combination. So see if we can take advantage of low HP targets, sniping them with Decimating Bolt, and converting that into a lot of damage on another target. So we get to do that a little bit. I'm going to show you 5 major portions of this dungeon, all the bosses, and a section where the AoE seemed to be going the way I was hoping it would go, and so I can take that away. But guys, I played this really poorly, so just bear with me. Talents. We're going with Nightfall, Absolute Corruption, Phantom Singularity, Grimoire, and Creeping Death. I'm going to test out a few other talents as well. We're in Bonesmith Hiremere for the Gemstone and Carver's Eye, and we use Withering Bolt and Rolling Agony to keep longer agonies. The trinkets are Ordnance and ICD. Ordnance didn't actually do as much as I was hoping. Probably an okay trinket for Fortified weeks as Affliction, but I don't know, wasn't that great. Probably works a lot better with Satchel, to be honest with you. Here's the first boss fight, Kintara. Again, I'm trying to use my Decimating Bolt on one of these little targets while they're at low HP, and we get one that goes off right here. I think I hit it at about 40% HP, so that would give us another extended buff on our Shadowbolt casts. You can see on the next boss, I get a bit of a better opener. But the point here, guys, is that whether we get Vi or we get we get access to a number of Decimating Bolt cast combinations in this fight, and you can see that we're pretty movement resistant, given that our 4-piece is giving us access to free instant cast Malefic Raptures. So what I'm trying to do is load up on Decimating Bolt targets by firing off, holding on to Nightfall procs where I can, using up Malefic Rapture casts in order to wait for those Nightfall procs, and then using them in the Decimating Bolt window wherever possible. You just keep your buffs going, and man, I scuff this so often. I think I refreshed Agony on Kintara like 5 times when I didn't need to, but it's scuffed. I'm doing my best. I also have desynced my Phantom Singularity by a few seconds with my Decimating Bolt, but that's okay. Here we are holding. I have 2 Nightfall procs. They go off here, bang, bang, right in a row. A lot of good damage. Again, because of Necrolord, we're getting 100% crit chance, 50% bonus crit damage on our Shadowbolts cast after, and there's 3 of them that we get. So every single Mythic Plus dungeon, whether it's trash packs or it's boss fights, is going to give you access to a number of good opportunities to snipe low HP targets and convert that into Shadowbolt damage. Here we have the combo coming back around here. I get the spear, so I just wait a second, get out of that. I build up our stacks. We have 2 Nightfalls in the background. Boom, they go off. There's a 37k Shadowbolt that goes flying out. It's pretty straightforward stuff, and it's kind of fun once you get the hang of it. So this is the end of the boss fight. I think we finish it around 10k. So kind of low, but you can see here, guys, I scuffed this. I could probably push this to 15k, especially if I was making use of something like Writhe and Agony or Dark Soul Misery, which would also have probably done really well. Let's head over to the pack that I thought was a fairly reasonable representation of what I want to be doing in this build. Again, this isn't really a build designed to do a lot of packs or pack damage per se, but it should do a healthy amount, or else it's not really worth doing. Okay. Excuse me, I'm just hopping ahead there. So what I'm looking to get out of this build is something like 15 to 20k damage consistently from every single pack we pull, outside of our windows with our Dark Glare. So I don't have Dark Glare here. I try to get an early cast of Corruption, a Seed of Corruption, to make sure Corruption is spread. There it went off. We are spreading our agonies as we should be. We cast PS, and then we fire as many casts of Malefic Rapture as we can get, looking to snipe with a Decimating Bolt on some low HP target to convert it into giant Nightfall casts. And here we get about 13 or 14k overall from this pack. That's on the low end of what I think we can probably achieve reasonably. Again, just that simple system of Seed of Corruption, spreading our agonies, banking a few casts of Malefic Rapture until we have PS up, and then going to town with PS and a bunch of casts of Malefic Rapture. This is also, by the way, where VT would probably be really, really strong, and I think we're seeing people test that out a little bit more. I think with Soul Satchel, because it's like a 1-minute CD. But that 20-second CD makes a lot of sense on a lot of our pack damage, since you have all these stacked together, and Malefic Rapture is bursting all of that damage. So, things to look forward to. Those two packs went reasonably well. There's a few others that were okay, but that was kind of the process that I'm looking to generate for this. Let's head over to Ventunax, where we had an example, I think, of pretty decent preparation. You can see here we're finishing this pack off, and I learned from last time that I did it wrong. So I want to now Decimating Bolt. That thing was at 7% HP as we finish that Decimating Bolt, so that is something like another 170% extra damage on these next bolts. And you can see, watch what happens. I fire off the first bolt, it grabbed aggro from the tank. That's how much damage that bolt did. We ripped aggro. That's what we want to be seeing. Load up your Decimating Bolt on a previous target in a pack as you're finishing that, and then prep it for the boss so that you get a Decimating Bolt cast off really early on. Then if you're breaking you'll know that you'll have access to another one right away. You can see here, I got an early cast. I screwed this up, guys. I could have cast Decimating Bolt, fired it off right away, probably got another Decimating Bolt from before it transitioned. So these are things I want to test, but I wanted to show you at least at the opener for Ventunax that it is possible to have this interaction. So Decimating Bolt's priority goes way up if you're killing because you know you can get quite a few more casts of it before the buff expires. Anyways, that's what it looks like. It's pretty mobile because your Shadowbolts are giving you a chance to get those freak instant casts, so you don't have to worry so much. I kind of screw this part up as usual. You know, I'm just not paying attention. That one I thought I was out of, but I was not. Doesn't matter. Eat a Lock Rock. You can maintain the buff when you have the 4-piece quite reasonably. And I don't think this build really works that well unless you have the 4-piece, because in a dungeon setting, those Shadowbolts that you're casting are just amplifying, especially your AoE damage, quite a lot. So your filler is moving you towards a high value spender in Malefic Rapture. Without the 4-piece, those Shadowbolts are not giving you access to that potential filler. So less powerful. Anyways, that's Ventunax, and then we have Orphyrion a little further on here. Here again, an example of where I tried to make use of a Decimating Bolt off of the previous pack and it did not work out. But you can see here, I could have cast the Decimating Bolt on the target and landed it. We ended up getting Woe Drifter, but whatever. But it's just, I try to snipe it here. You can see I target Woe, try to get the Decimating Bolt off, but the target dies. So me thinking about planning that out is what needs to change. And I think it's pretty straightforward. I just need to start valuing the timing of the Decimating Bolt a little bit better. And with practice, I think you can get some really crazy results. This goes as you might expect. Just a pretty straightforward boss fight. There is an interesting moment at the end where I get a low health Decimating Bolt, and I think we get something like a 75,000 damage Shadowbolt right at the end. And obviously, it's not practical because the boss is dead, but the point was to see that 75,000 damage Shadowbolt was pretty awesome to see the top end of what we can get. So let me see if I can skip ahead a little bit. Orphyrion's doing his thing. We're just going back and forth as you're used to with this fight. I think somebody might die. You can see I'm holding Decimating Bolt just a little bit because I know we're going to have to move with Ordnance, so I want to make sure I have everything up. We get our Unstable Affliction, then we combine them together alongside PS and go to town with those 2 Nightfall procs. So it's pretty good damage. So holding isn't that bad, but in general, as many Decimating Bolts as you can get out, the better. So then we get close to the end here, and we have the moment where I fire off a low Decimating Bolt. We fire one bolt. There it was. I think, let me see if I can go back and grab that. Here comes the bolt. There, 75,613 damage to finish off that boss. That's a really high amount of damage for one ability. And the point is, guys, if we are decimating bolting low HP targets and sniping it all through the dungeon, you're going to get access to these kinds of crits for a lot more of the dungeon. You just pair it together with your trinkets, that kind of stuff. Like if you have First Sigil and IQD, maybe your First Sigil can be used for a lot of these moments throughout. Other trinkets that are good. IQD is actually not amazing, although it's really good for giving you haste. So if we want the haste, or I guess in Mythic Plus, the Mastery is also good too. But the point is, you can load up 3 of these bolts that will do these huge crits if you're just careful and attentive and finding the right moment. And obviously it didn't matter because the boss was dying, but I thought I'd at least note that for you guys. Then let's head over to Devos, and you can see the final bit and just see some of the movement challenges that we have to take care of here. Again, notice here, I screwed this up. I opened with Decimating Bolt on the wrong target. I could have saved it. Now I'm going to try to get it on the Dismantler. So I focus my attention for a while on Shadowbolt, and I'm looking at the I'm going to try to tab over and get the Decimating Bolt, and I don't get it, guys. So that Decimating Bolt went from being buffed by maybe 110%, and it could have been buffed by 185 or 90%. So those are some of the small things that I'm attending to. I'm also an idiot and got hit by that. I should have ported it earlier. But also gives you access to, generally speaking, 1 bonus Decimating Bolt because of the CDR that you're getting from it. So just things to think through, things that were not really on my mind because I'm just running around trying to figure out how to do it. But it was a lot of fun, and I can see the potential in Mythic Plus to snipe all of those things. Let me get going here. Devos is back. La-di-da. Again, one of the things that I like about Necrolord in Mythic Plus is it's a lot sturdier, especially if you're using something like the First Sigil. Given that in Mythic Plus, you can probably pre-plan your Sigil and actually get the full duration channel of your Necrolord ability out, whereas in a raid setting, I find I just use it like a normal on-use trinket, and I don't get as much value because I'm trying to pump at the opener with Lust, say. So you don't want to channel, you want to fire off your abilities. In Mythic Plus, and you're in the middle of a pack, you can channel that full duration, and still you have a lot of time left for the buff. So it's a lot sturdier to play Necrolord. Yeah, Night Fade gives you something to get out of crap, but most of the time in Mythic Plus, you're just taking a crap load of damage in heavy fortified weeks, say on SD, or if you're in the Theater of Pain. There's a lot of just intense damage that hits targets like the one wing with the Lich in Theater of Pain, where you're just getting slapped by the soul storm damage, or the Bonesmith dudes are firing gigantic spears. That's where Necrolord actually shines. You get a little bit more defensive power. Also, is going to give you that defensive power back, and it benefits Necrolord far more than the others because you're not going to necessarily need a Soul Shape or reset. You're not necessarily going to need a Door of Shadows reset, but resetting Fleshcraft is just a whole bunch more health, and it's pretty good. Here we go. Again, I just Fleshcraft at the end to keep myself a little sturdy, keep myself alive. We finish the boss off here with some nice low HP execute Shadowbolts. That's the benefit too of you're essentially in Mythic Plus, we can try to scale our Decimating Bolt to always give you max execute damage. So every boss fight in Tyrannical, you're guaranteed to get a couple of really solid execute moments. Anyways, the overall damage was garbage, guys. I I'm ashamed. But the principle is here. And now that I'm testing it out, I want to look ahead and see opportunities to maximize this build. So I'll be back with another one next time. Thanks for watching and taking a look in at this Tyrannical, and we'll catch you guys for some more Nightfall damage. See you next time. Bye.